Good morning, this is Frank Fortunato with CATEX TV. Today is Friday, October 14, 2011. Quick hits in Rome. The Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has once again magically survived a vote of confidence in the parliament. And in New York right now, police and protesters are gearing up for a little bit of a confrontation. The police are determined to clean out, sanitation-wise, a park in which the protesters have been camping for 3 weeks with fire hoses and disinfectants, and then let the protesters back in. The protesters are saying they're not going to move. We'll see what happens. A strong earthquake struck Russia's far eastern area today near the Chinese border. It shook buildings hundreds of miles away and halted almost all Russian oil supplies to China. Schools and buildings were evacuated. The USGS said it was a 6.1 quake, struck about 3,200 miles east of Moscow near the city of Skavorodino. Russian oil pipeline monopoly Transcript said it halted supplies to China on a 300,000 barrel a day East Siberian pipeline. Another strong earthquake struck off the coast of New Guinea. It was a 6.7 quake. No tsunami warning was issued. Mark Byrne, Haverford Group from Bermuda, his bid to acquire a 25% stake in Omega was approved by the United Kingdom's Financial Services Authority. Under the Haverford offer, Byrne plans to oversee a simplification of Omega's business structure, focusing more on the Lloyd's operation. Haverford is interested in buying 25% of the stake, but it's got the backing of Invesco Asset Management, which also has a 25% of the stake. And here's an interesting comment coming out of the Insurance Day Tech Conference in London this week. New regulatory measures will soon see brokers needing levels of data and information at a level that they've never seen before. This is according to Mark Kinsella, the head of technology at Robert Fleming. He said that the potential impact of insurance industry regulation has only been focused on underwriters so far. However, brokers are going to find themselves exposed to increased regulatory oversight. Kinsella said there's an inference that compliance is a big thing for underwriters and not such a big thing for brokers. I don't agree with that. There's a lot going on in the regulatory world. Our regulations are going to change. He said that in fact brokers basically have to take more money out of their business and ensure now that there's a reserve for the future in order to meet new Solvency II standards. And since brokers, quote, have a reputation for not exactly knowing what their allocated cash position is, regulators are going to be demanding much better information. As we predicted yesterday, and it's now been confirmed, satellites are tracking Muammar Gaddafi's movements in the southern Libyan desert. Here's a picture of Gaddafi, not one of his good days, and here's a trackless waste of the desert. Mr. Gaddafi is apparently moving only now with a small group of people, including bodyguards, and he's in a small motorcade of 4 or 5 vehicles. Not a good way to end up things. Here's the Thai Prime Minister, believe it or not. She's been elected just recently. She gave a news conference today saying that the residents of Bangkok need not be worried about the floodwaters that have already killed 300 people. She said that Bangkok may face some problems in areas that are on the outer side of the irrigation dikes, but levels in the city won't rise high enough to cause problems. This weekend, time will tell. In Greece, Athens is once again snarled in protest. The transport workers are on strike. The rest of Europe is gearing up to save them, and meanwhile the Greeks are saying that they don't want to take austerity measures. And we're going to follow this. This is the final wording of the transcript from Air France Flight 447, the Airbus 330 that crashed into the South Atlantic 2 years ago. With 228 people on board. The plane went down in a tropical storm while flying from Rio to Paris. Up until now, only selected excerpts have been released between the 37-year-old co-pilot, the 32-year-old co-pilot, and the 58-year-old captain. A veteran French flying instructor with contacts in the industry has written a book now which lays the whole scandal bare. The captain had 11,000 flying hours behind him. He was on a routine break when the crash happened, leaving the 2 co-pilots in charge. One co-pilot said, "So is he coming?" swearing in frustration as the captain takes a full minute to get back to the cockpit. When the captain gets in, he goes, "Hey, what are you?" And then the co-pilot says, "What's happening?" "I don't know. I don't know what's happening." The plane was suffering from a loss of lift. Its airspeed sensors had malfunctioned, but instead of lowering the plane's nose to deal with the stall as they should have done, they raised it. The co-pilot said, "I've got a problem. I don't have vertical speed. I don't have any indication." The Captain interrupted him and said, "I don't know, but right now we're going down." Air France argues that the pilots were confused by numerous signals coming from the dashboard. As the plane approached the ocean at high speed, the crew began conversing in short, panicked questions. "What do you think? What do you think? What should we do?" said the co-pilot. "I don't have control of the plane," said the other co-pilot. "I have no control of the plane at all." This is as a stall alarm sounded for the 6th time in 2 minutes. The final exchange, the co-pilot says, "Damn it, we're going to crash. It can't be true." The other co-pilot said, "But what's happening?" Air France has denied that its pilots were incompetent, but it has since improved training for their pilots, concentrating on how to fly a plane manually when there is a stall. Wow. That's the news for today. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.